Running is something most of us have to do every week, whether it's in a CrossFit workout, interval training, or endurance work. The most efficient runners understand the principle that the longer the feet stay in contact with the ground, the slower the runner's pace will be. Today's session focused mainly on the short course because that's what you're most likely to encounter in CrossFit or in our strength and conditioning classes. Distances vary from 25-meter shuttles to 1 mile typically, so fast and efficient movement is what we want to get the fastest time. We took video of all the people who attended our running form class this past Saturday. We shot before video, did some drills and skills, and then shot after video. I've got two people with different running form, age, weight, and gender, and we'll take a look in a frame-by-frame analysis of how they made some simple changes to their technique to yield some great changes in their efficiency and speed. First, we're going to take a look at Russell. Here is Russell's before run. As you can see, he has a slow foot pull from the ground. He spends more time on the ground than he does in the air. Now let's take a look at this frame by frame. Here is the first point of contact with his foot and the ground. It takes 8 frames for his foot to finish touching the ground. Liftoff is what I call the point at which neither foot is on the ground. The striking foot has finally moved to behind the body, and the next foot has not yet hit the ground. The liftoff period is where the most distance is covered and should be as long as possible. His body is only in the liftoff phase for 4 frames. That's only half as long as the phase in which it has contact with the ground. So we see from this video that his time spent on the ground and time spent in the air are a little bit backwards. Now let's take a look at his after form. You can see that he is noticeably faster and he's in contact with the ground for a shorter period of time. Let's take a look at the frame-by-frame analysis to see the numbers. And at 5 frames, his feet are leaving the ground, compared to 8 frames before. The time in contact is considerably shorter. And then again at 5 frames into liftoff, he's returning to the ground. That's a lot more balanced stride with increased efficiency and more speed. Our next runner is Molly. She has a naturally longer stride here. Her foot strikes right under her body, which is great, but she still spends a little too much time on the ground. In our frame-by-frame analysis, we'll see that it takes 5 frames for her feet to leave the ground again. Here at liftoff, her lead leg is already primed and moving out forward to clear some distance. And then 4 frames later, she's returned to the ground. So Molly's stride is already pretty big, and her time on the ground compared to off the ground are pretty close together. Now let's see how Molly's stride or speed changed after we did some drills. First of all, this is a lot faster. Her pull from the ground is more rapid and efficient. Upon analysis, we see that her foot stays on the ground for 5 frames still, but her time in liftoff is now 5 frames, but the distance covered in her stride has also increased, as evidenced by this comparison. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Look for our next running class on the schedule if you're ready for some great coaching on running form and training intervals.